Here's some more examples for you to calculate the theoretical masses from different reactions. So let's just pretend I start with 4 grams of magnesium. And so from 4 grams of magnesium, the question is, how much magnesium chloride can I make? Step 1, you work out the moles of what you know. So my moles of magnesium is mass over mR, which is 4 over 24, which equals 0.16. My next step is to look at the ratio of what I know, so the ratio of Mg to what I'm looking for, so magnesium chloride. Well, I've only got 1 molecule of Mg, and that makes 1 molecule of magnesium chloride. Therefore, my ratio is 1 to 1. Therefore, if I've got 0.16 moles of magnesium, that's going to make me 0.16 moles of magnesium chloride. Finally, I want the mass of magnesium chloride. Therefore, I do moles times mR, because it's just rearranging this formula. So my moles were 0.16, and my mR of magnesium chloride, well, magnesium is 24, chlorine is 35.5, but there's 2 of them, so 24, add 35.5, so 24 add 71 equals 95. And this will get me my answer, which equals 15.8 grams. So if you start with 4 grams of magnesium, you can make 15 grams of magnesium chloride. Next one, I want you to try yourself before you look through the worked example. So this one's more complicated because I've given it to you in a way that they might give it to you in the exam. So as a word, and then you need to put in what you understand. So calcium carbonate undergoes thermal decomposition to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. If you start with 80 grams of calcium carbonate, how much calcium oxide will be formed? So the first step with anything like this is to turn it into an equation that you can work with. So calcium carbonate is this, and it undergoes thermal decomposition. So decomposition means it breaks up to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Quick check, is that balanced? Yep, so I'm happy with that. Now I've got 80 grams of this, and the question asked me to say how much of this do you make. So from here, now try it yourself, pause it, and then look at the example. So step 1, let's get the moles of what I know, which is 80 grams over the M. So calcium is 40 carbons, 12 oxygen, 16. So 40 add 12 add 16 times 3 equals 100. The MR is 100. Therefore it's 80 over 100 equals 0.8 moles. Now my ratio of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide is 1 to 1. Therefore I've also got 0.8 moles of calcium oxide. Finally, I need the mass of calcium oxide. Therefore I do moles times mR. So 0.8 times by 40 and 16, that makes 56. So 0.8 times 56 is 44.8 grams. So if I start with 80 grams of calcium carbonate, am I going to make 44.8 grams of calcium oxide? Yeah, that kind of makes sense, because I'm going to lose a massive amount of carbon dioxide. So you can also work out that carbon dioxide amount is 80 minus 44.8 due to the conservation of mass. Okay, so the first thing you have to do for this question is balance it. You need to make sure that the equations are balanced. So pause it now, balance it, and then carry on. So you should have found that all you need to do to balance it is a big 2 there. Now, I'll give you the amounts for the question. So let's say you start with 10 grams of magnesium carbonate. That's magnesium carbonate. And I'm trying to work out what's the mass of magnesium nitrate I can make. So pause it now, give it a go yourself. But you should find that the moles of MgCO3, magnesium carbonate, mass over mR. So that's 10 over the mR. You should have calculated that the mR is 84. So therefore the moles are 0.12. I'm just going to round it to that. Next, I need the ratio of magnesium carbonate to magnesium nitrate. The ratio is 1 to 1. Therefore, I've got 0.12 moles of magnesium nitrate. Finally, I want the mass of magnesium nitrate. Therefore, I need to do moles times mR. Now, my moles are 0.12, but my mR is a bit more tricky to calculate, so I'll calculate that with you now. Magnesium, the relative atomic mass is 24, nitrogen is 14, oxygen is 16. Now you see you've got these brackets here, so that means everything inside those brackets needs to be doubled. The magnesium is not doubled, I've only got one magnesium. So my calculation will be 24 add 14 for the nitrogen, add 16 times 3, because I've got 3 lots of the oxygen. But then that whole bracket has to be doubled, okay? So I'm going to times that bracket there by 2. So I will get 24, add, that makes 72, but it's only the 72 that I need to double, okay? It's only that bit that I've got 2 lots of. So that makes 24, add 144, so my MR is 168. So doing that calculation, equals 20. So if you start with 10 grams of this, you'll make 20 grams of this, in theory. Again, I'm happy with that. Let's try one more. Let's look at one final example. Okay, so this one, again, you're going to have to pick out the information from the question, write it as a formula, and show what you know. So 10 grams of aluminium oxide. Again, we've got a decomposition, so it just breaks up and makes aluminium and oxygen. So aluminium oxide just breaks up to make this. And the first thing you'll notice again is that you need to balance this. So pause it now, balance it. You should find that you need a big 2 there because you've got an odd number of oxygen, so sort that out. And then this will make this much easier. Should be that balanced. Now fill in the information that you know. So you've got 10 grams there, and this is what you want. Next, do the moles of aluminium oxide. It's the 10 grams over the MR. Aluminium is 27. So I've got 2 lots of that and 3 oxygens. That makes 10 over 102. That makes 0.1 moles of aluminium oxide. Next up, the ratio. Now the ratio here is not 1 to 1 because I've got a big 2 there and I'm creating 4 aluminiums. So the ratio, if I simplify that ratio, is actually 1 to 2. So So if I had 0.1 moles, I've got twice as many aluminium. Therefore, I've got 0.2 moles of aluminium. Finally, my mass of Al is moles times mR. So moles is 0.2, mR is 27. Gives me an answer of 2.6 grams. So if you start with 10 grams of that and you thermally decompose it, you will create 2.6 grams of aluminium, and the rest will leave as oxygen. Thanks. If you need any more practice, let me know.